Hey everybody, I'm out here in the shop with the locomotive. We had a great test run. It's been a few weeks now. There's a few things that I've been tweaking and fixing, which is pretty normal for the initial run of a live steam locomotive. One of the things that I noticed is the mechanical lubricator that I have for the locomotive. This is an American Model Engineering mechanical lubricator. As you can see, it's got two pumps inside there, and it's partially filled with a steam oil right now, and it's a beautifully made piece of gear. A couple things I noticed, that if you'll notice there, the sight glass, if you look at it, it looks like it's full, because all you can see is the bottom part of the oil thing. There's a lot of space above those pumps that can be filled. So, before we ran it, I had looked at it. The sight glass was full. I'm like, yeah, it's full. I hadn't filled it in a long time, but I hadn't run it either. We steam tested it in my driveway and only ran it for a few minutes. And I know I had it topped off before that, so I was thinking it's pretty full. And now that I see it like this, I remember, oh yeah, the sight glass is only for half full, basically. So that's lesson number one with these things. Lesson number two is, if you run them out of oil, you have to prime them again. And they do send you directions with the priming, or with the pump, about how to prime it. It's underlined there below. I won't read it to you, but and I don't think anybody's ever showed this on video on the internet before, so I'm going to attempt to video. My setup is not that great, but I'm going to attempt to prime the pump, which is basically just getting the air bubbles out of the pump. It would be a lot easier. You wouldn't have to take the pump out. If I had a brake bleeding thing, which I do, I used to be into classic cars a long time ago, and I have this old Mighty Vac thing. As you can see, it's pretty beat up. I pulled it out yesterday, and this is what the box looks like. Keeping an old ammo can, but it's a brake bleeding kit in it. It's a vacuum operated deal, and unfortunately I guess my kit needs a new O-ring or something. I need to take it apart, but it doesn't work, so doesn't pull vacuum anymore. So what I'm going to have to do is try to do this manually. You can buy new Mighty Vac things. I think they're somewhere around $25, and probably the auto parts stores, Harbor Freight, like that, they have them. So I'm hoping this camera picks up the thing. I don't know where to set this to, so you'll get a good view of it. I need an overhead mount, but let me just describe it briefly. Maybe I can do this, maybe I can't, but it has to have oil in it, and you take a 3/32 hex wrench into these socket head set screws. It says remove the screw. It says make sure the oil is above the pump block, which I guess, I don't know if it's, it doesn't have a diagram, and it doesn't tell you exactly what the pump block is. I guess that's this right here. So I'm gonna put some more oil in a minute, but I thought I'd take these screws out now where I could see what I'm doing. And basically, you actuate the pump to get the air bubbles out, is all it boils down to. See, this one, I'm glad I did that, because there's a little washer there. If I can't get it with this, I'll use some tweezers. I dang sure don't want to lose the washer in there. A washer with an O-ring on it. Dang sure don't want to lose either of those things. Put that together here. You can see I got gloves on because I don't want to get steam oil over my hands. It's late at night, and we got to clean up and go in a little while anyway. But steam oil, if you haven't messed with it, it's very, very thick. It's like molasses. It's thicker than 90 weight. It's very thick oil. So let me pour a little steam oil in there. It's expensive too. This is some steam oil I got from Loco Parts. It says 600 weight steam cylinder oil, and I believe that cost me like $15 or $20 just for that quart. So probably buy it in larger quantities when I really start running. Hopefully this is showing up, guys. Pour some steam oil in. You can see how thick it is. Just like molasses or honey or something like that. So it's pretty full now. And you activate this to let the air bubbles come out, and it says you can poke something in there. Yeah, see that you can see the air bubbles coming out. I don't know if it's showing up on the video or not, but see right here. Yep. So the idea is that you just have to do this for a lot, and they say something about sticking a angled screwdriver in between the cam and the pump body. I really don't want to do that. I'm sure these are hardened steel cams, but I don't know. This pump was expensive, and I don't really want to take a risk of messing with it. I don't mind. I'll just sit here and fiddle with it till the air bubbles all get out. But that's the idea. I remember I had to do this once before several years ago, and this is basically what you do. You activate it till all of the air bubbles are out completely. There can't be that much because the pump isn't that small. isn't that big. And when you're sure the air bubbles are completely out, then you put the screws back and you activate the pump till you see a little oil coming out of there. These are one-way check valves here. Hopefully that's showing up for you. So those are check valves, and then this whole thing, I'll do another video once I get it completely bled and put back in. The procedure will be, I'll bleed this out, make sure all the air bubbles are out, put the screws back, fill it up completely with oil, screw the top back on, and then I'll mount it back into, mine is mounted underneath the running board on the fireman's side, the left side of the locomotive. And then I hook up my oil lines here. So on the bench, I'm gonna get the oil out, and I'll make sure I get a little bit of oil coming out of both sides here. I'll tighten everything back together, and then I'll bolt it back into the locomotive. And then once that's done, then I'll hook the steam lines, or the oil lines back up to go to the steam chests. So I turn around, sorry for the camera work, but here's one of them that goes to the engineer's side. It's finger tight. This is a check valve here that I built according to the Allen blueprints. So I'll hook the line back up on the other side, hook it up to the pump, and I'll have this disconnected. I'll do both sides, and I'll have my finger underneath there while I activate the pump rod and make sure I got oil coming out here. And that way I know it's going into the steam chests on both sides, and we'll be good to go for the actual running next time I take it out. So hope that makes sense. I'll go ahead and cut the video off now, because I think you got the idea, and hopefully this is useful to anybody else who uses one of these pumps. They are beautifully made. I'm not trying to be critical at all. And American Model Engineering actually sold. They used to be located pretty close to where I am in Northwest Florida. Now they sold to a company in Pennsylvania called Godshall's, and I've actually bought a few parts from the Godshall's folks. Very good to deal with. They answered the phone, knew exactly what I was asking for, and I was really pleased dealing with them. So I will definitely buy from them again, and I'm sure that they're producing the exact same products that the original American Model Engineering company produced. And I'm very grateful, obviously, that I really believe in the suppliers for the hobby. I'm grateful for all of them that produce a good product and keep us all going. So thanks, Godshall's, and thank you, American Model Engineering, for providing the pump in the first place. Hopefully I got all that. I was trying to just holding this camera on a loose mount, and hopefully it made sense. Gee whiz, I prattled on for almost 10 minutes. So thanks again for watching, everybody. I'll keep you posted.